You should have just asked me a question that had nothing to do with anything.
I don't know, man. Something hit me in the core there. I don't know. I reserve the right to be completely wrong about this.
Hello and welcome to Is This Good? The show where we boldly, conclusively, and scientifically decide what things in this big wide world are good. I'm Matt Austin, and with me, as always, is production powerhouse Jason Doyle.
Hello.
Hi JD, thanks for coming. And today's guest is a very funny writer who has slinged scripts for your favorite TV comedies like Single Parents, Girls Five Eva, and Only Murders in the Building. She also hosts a podcast called Hills I Die On, where guests come on to argue an unpopular opinion to the death, which is something we respect on this show. And she doesn't know this, but her kindness is directly responsible for me almost getting punched in the face. It's Taylor Cox. Taylor, welcome to Is This Good?
Oh no! I have to know what happened. I'm so sorry. Oh my god. You just started this before recording saying you preferred your guests not be frazzled, and then that's what you hit me with?
Well, okay, let me take you back. It's really not your fault, but in a way it really is
but
your
it might
fault.
be.
So,
All right, tell me everything.
Let's go back to the pandemic. The good people at Moderna and Pfizer have come out with some vaccines.
Oh no.
I don't know who you are, but somehow I'm sitting at home, in that year of solitude going, when this is over, I should become a better person. And then across my social media transom comes up this thing where it's like, hello, I'm organizing a get out the vaccine volunteer force. And basically all you need to do is come down to this parking lot. I'll tell you where to go. I'll hand you a stack of flyers, and you go out and hang them in store windows or ask stores if you can hang them in their windows, and we'll get the vaccine out, word about the vaccine out. The more people that take the vaccine, the more chance we'll nip this thing in the bud. So I go to a parking lot. You hand me
your first red flag, by the way, before the story goes any further, The first red flag is you saw on your social media from someone you didn't know inviting you to a parking lot and you attended. So I just want to say before we finish up in the name game that I'm flagging how it could also potentially be perceived as your fault. But continue. Please
well, you
continue.
were playing off all of our weaknesses that we had vowed to come out of the pandemic, not the same shithead that we were when we went in. You think
that I was playing off this and not also completely doing this out of my own guilt? Well, you're crazy.
Well, just now that I have you on, I do wonder, were you deputized to do this, or can anyone just say, hey, we're going to get the word about the vaccine out?
It was the craziest thing. I, similar to you, was like, what's happening here? We saw all of our friends in line at this place called Kedron. People were getting early vaccines. There was all this drama of whether it was socially acceptable or not, or morally acceptable. And the people at Kedron were saying that a lot of these vaccines were being thrown away at the end of the day because they were expired. So that's when they were drawing from this line of mostly upper middle class white people coming in to take these expired vaccines. And I was like, this is so weird. Are people in the community that they're intended for? Why are they not taking advantage of this new vaccine? And I emailed and I was just like, hey, are there any efforts to get out the word? If so, I'd love to be a part of it. And they emailed back saying, if you'd like to be in charge of one, go right ahead. We'll print you out the locations. And I was like, okay. So all of a sudden, it was just sort of thrust on top of me, and I didn't have anything else going on and did firmly wonder, everyone was saying at the time, the rhetoric was, oh, people in these communities just don't believe in the vaccines. And I was like, well, let's try, let's see. And so we did one day, very small, grassroots, just flyered essentially. And the next day, the line of people who were supposed to be getting vaccines in their district was through the door with people holding our signs, and they just had no idea. And so it was oh, this is actually the first time I've talked about it publicly because I was so afraid that it was going to turn into some horrifying white savior thing. And so a lot of people reached out from the Times and I was just abso-fucking-lutely not. If you want to talk to the doctors at Kedron, go with God. I know nothing. I know absolutely nothing. I have access to a printer, Copycat in Los Feliz, love them, and a few people who have more social media followers than I do who are.
Hey Taylor, don't sell yourself short. Not only did you have access to a Xerox, you also had a Costco-sized box of Nutri-Grain bars. Okay, so those are We didn't need epidemiologists.
Listen,
we needed breakfast bars.
What really is the medical community without breakfast bars and a optimistic white woman who knows nothing about anything, trying to do very basic. Anyway, keep going with your story.
Well, yes. So this is you caught us up to where we are.
Yes.
You with a sedan in a parking lot, trunk open, handing out tiny bottles of water and Xerox papers. So you send me and this other woman who I don't know, who also showed up to volunteer. And I just type in the address on my phone and I just start driving. She's driving her car. I get there. She texts me because we just exchanged numbers. She's like, oh, it was something north and I went to something south. It's going to take me a while to get back there. So I say, don't worry, I got this. All right, let me get this going. The first place I see is a Starbucks. I'm like, Starbucks. Okay, I know what that is. I can communicate. So I walked over and I'm just standing outside the Starbucks. I'm a little nervous and I start reading the script of what I'm supposed to say. Like, hi, my name's Matt, working to get word about the vaccine out. Here's where you can get it. And as I'm reading this, I hear someone go, yo. But I'm like, well, they're not talking to me. So I'm just reading. They're like, yo, what the fuck you doing here? I'm like, probably not talking to me. So I'm still reading. And they're like, are you lost? And I'm like, okay, now I bet they are talking to me, but I'm still not going to look up. And then they're like, yo, bitch. I said them to, and I'm like, okay, bitch. Yeah, I think they are talking to me. And I look up, and in the time it's taken me to look up, this guy is right over me, fist cocked back. And I'm like, I'm just here to get the word about the vaccine out. And he's like, we don't want your fucking help or your fucking vaccine. Now, to be clear, I don't think he was saying it in a microchippy Bill Gates sense. I just think he was angry for other reasons. And then
we were coming into a community that was not our own and offering something.
Yes,
that some people
and
did
that's
not want.
That's fair enough.
Also,
And I said, oh, I was actually just about to go into the Starbucks, and I turned around and walked in, like, just hoping he wouldn't punch the back of my head. And he didn't, and everyone in the Starbucks was like, do you know that guy? And I was like, no, obviously I don't know that guy, and he just wants to kill me. And they're like, oh, we're so sorry, that shouldn't happen.
Oh, man.
And then I did the rest of my shift, and I came back, and you said, how did it go? And I said, great, and then I never saw you again.
Okay, I apologize. that happened.
That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for.
Glad you didn't get hit. I couldn't believe you wanted me, of all people, on your podcast. Now I know you were just soliciting an apology, a long overdue apology. If there's anyone else out there that I almost got hit, just know that I am aware that I am stupid and this may have been a reckless cause and I did not know what I was doing. I hope to believe that our efforts provided more good than harm. However, Matt is proof that perhaps there were casualties along the way, and for that, I publicly apologize. If you want me to put this all in a notes app, I will.
Yeah, I mean, I just thought the weird part was when you handed us needles with the vaccine in it, and we're like, even if people don't want it,
hey, stick them. I said stick them. I was very clear during our training that we were not saying, here's why you should get it, or here's why you shouldn't. We were just saying, if you wanted it, here, because we are not doctors, and we just wanted people to have the decision for themselves. Oh my God, I'm having acid flashbacks right now. Do you know how many clipboards I had in my house for like 2 years? I finally found a school that would take them. I'm still using tape that was donated for my child's lunches now. By the way, the child wasn't even an inkling in my eye at the time, and I'm still using blue tape that we used to hang up on the.
Oh, well, I mean, the good news is it worked, and we never heard the words COVID-19 again.
Yeah, what I want people to take away from this is that a woman named Taylor Cox solved the pandemic in 2020. She knew what she was setting out to do, and she succeeded.
All right, let's talk about your podcast for a second. Hills I Die On. Is it on hiatus due to child?
It's basically, I love my podcast. It's very, very fun. Thank you for letting me talk about myself for 10 minutes, for the whole time here. But it's
actually not. It's actually just the first 15 that you get to talk about yourself. Then I take over.
Definitely not. This is my domain. Now I haven't done my own podcast, so I'm thirsting to hear my own voice. No, it's so much fun. I love it very much, but it is on hiatus. When I had a kid, also, my child Simon is almost 11 months now, crazy. But he was born 30 minutes before the end of the writer's strike. So I was thrust straight back into work, and also being a new mom, 4 weeks later. And so, I had a lot going on, and I decided perhaps a hiatus was necessary. Also, if my son ever asks, I stayed home with him the entire first year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. It's
So
a picket line
feel free to edit out
baby.
the rest. 100% a picket line baby, who, by the way, I hid from people for like 7 months. So I was like walking around the picket line. It was like 105 degrees, and I was wearing all black, like head to toe, until one of my friends was like, "Babe, we know. We know
Okay,
you're
look,
pregnant.
I don't
You're
know,
making
JD,
us all uncomfortable. Put on shorts."
She's hiding her volunteer work. She's hiding her child. This is something we might have to get into later. So people are coming on, and they're bringing you an unpopular opinion that they really believe in. It's a hill they're willing to die on. And some of these are truly wild, but I was wondering, was there one particularly insane hill that someone died on that jumps out to you?
Oh, man. So many.
I'll tell you one that jumped out at me.
Oh,
Twins
please.
should be separated at birth.
Gillian Nassim is the greatest. She has twin sisters, and so has been directly affected by the twin universe. And I loved that hill. I love hills that are silly, that like have a backstory and a reason, but are silly and aren't like trying to take on some mass problem where I either have to play like the savior or the bad guy, right?
Right.
I'm like, I don't know if I want to talk about this right now. But yeah, that was the really good one. I would say one of the craziest ones as well to me was Noah Garfinkel came on to say novels are bad.
Yes, Noah's been on this show.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
And that sounds like something he'd say, because I just on Instagram see he's reading like all 50 parts of Robert Caro's Lyndon Johnson biography.
Yes,
so
he
it sounds like
loves
something
the
he'd say.
nonfiction. Absolutely. I will also say one of the ones that I got the most heat on was Moshe Kasher came on to say that we shouldn't celebrate our wives on Mother's Day.
Yes,
And
I saw
it should
that.
be to celebrate your mother. And this was already a point of contention in my own family, because like I am of the mindset like, let's celebrate my mom. I don't really give a fuck. Like, she does so much for us, and like my grandma was still around. Well, she passed away a few weeks ago, but she was still around. And so like we should celebrate the matriarchs first. And my sister-in-law was like, "Fuck you! I'm going to brunch with my husband. This is about me now. I pushed out a baby." And so when Moshe came on, it was it stirred the pot. I'll say it stirred the pot.
I would say that's one of his skills, stirring the pot.
It is. He's a very funny man.
He brought the heat. All right, well, we'll get to some unpopular opinions of our own here, but some quick housekeeping before we start. If you'd like to support the show, get exclusive content, go to patreon.com/isthisgood, and you could send topics for future shows to isthisgoodpod@gmail.com, and subscribe on YouTube. Taylor, the premise of this show, it's very simple. I'll give you a topic. You tell me if it's good. Shriram G asks, kids' tables at restaurants, is this good? So I'm going to read you what he wrote. Hey, Matt and JD. I was at a nice seafood restaurant by the sea in Edinburgh having lunch when a group of 4 couples walked in.
Brag.
Yeah, exactly. I think he's from Edinburgh, so it's not that much of a brag. All these people were pretty preppy. Men with polo t-shirts and sweaters wrapped around their shoulders, women in afternoon dresses. Each couple had 1 or 2 kids aged between 4 and 10, I'm guessing. What they proceeded to do next shocked me. The adults took a table for 8 and got the kids to sit together at their own table for 6 behind us, sort of like a kid's table at a wedding. Again, this was a nice restaurant by the sea. By the sea, Taylor! And a kids only table was kind of disruptive to have right next to us. It was extra annoying because the parents kept walking up to the kids table and back multiple times as well. I live in France, and it would be highly inappropriate here. In fact, we visited a pub with friends who have noisy kids, and strangers asked them to shut up. So hence the surprise. Having a kids table at a restaurant, is this good? Best, Shriram G.
A few things of note. I have to know if Shriram would be okay with the kids table by the mountains, or if it's just the sea element that really like negates it. For me, I'm not sure it makes a difference. Okay, first, a couple things. First of all, Shriram, your lifestyle sounds so much better than mine, and I would love to know what you do for a living, and if you need people to join you at some of these restaurants. It sounds like a blast. That being said, kids at restaurants and airplanes and whatnot used to bug me, and now I am a mom. So you are coming at me at a really fresh time where I am still trying to live my life, knowing that I am going to roll the dice that my kid is going to behave in public, and knowing deep in my heart that it's probably not going to happen. I still think that I should deserve to have some sense of normalcy in my life and get to go to dinner with my friends without having to pay $60 an hour for whatever fucking nanny 17-year-old is going to extort me to watch my kid while they're sleeping.
Well, JD, your boys are now old enough to sit on their own.
Oh, yes. How old?
18 and 16.
Do they babysit?
They're available. Just give me a number.
Are they open for adoption? Do they want to adopt a baby?
Well, they are in Atlanta. I didn't tell you that off the top. I'm in LA. JD's in Atlanta.
That's okay.
So you'll have to fly them across the country.
Not a deal breaker, which is basically the cost of daycare. Accepted.
So, JD, would you do this?
I have done it. The last time was a while ago. The last time we did it, when they were young enough for it to be a problem for other people. We were in Florida. It was in a pretty boisterous seafood restaurant by the sea.
What?
Yes.
Mind blown. So mind blown.
And they were across from us. It was 3 girls and my 2 boys. And, but Taylor, my kid is the 4-year-old that orders mussels anyways, right? So,
yes.
In fact, that time, the waiter had come over to me and said, "This kid just ordered a medium rare steak. Is that fine?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. He knows what he's doing. So yeah, and they were completely well behaved. Now, it was a boisterous place. It was in Florida again, like Treasure Island. So, it wasn't Disney World, but it was definitely a vacation destination.
Yeah, you get
and
the
it was
vibe
great.
For kid-friendly.
Yeah, and it gave the adults a chance to chat and talk and, swear and tell all our dirty jokes and stuff. And it gave the kids a chance to, swear and tell all their dirty jokes, and they had their privacy. I think it's good for kids, and I think you just have to be ready to keep a half an eye on them. Yeah. And get ready to discipline them if things get out of hand. Like, they're still your responsibility. That's the key.
1,000%. And I think that's where I was lost by our lovely write-in, was that he said he seemed to be upset that the parents were continuing to come by to check on them. And to me, that is, like, the most respectful thing that they could do. Because, like, nothing is worse than when the kids are running around everywhere and you're like, is somebody going to discipline? Is it going to be me? Because I didn't sign up.
And then they get mad at you?
Yeah,
Speaking of being by the sea, I've been at the beach. Now, this is a different sea. This is the Pacific Sea. I don't know if the rules still apply. But, you'll see kids running wild and their parents, like, just drinking on the beach, paying zero attention. And they're, like, running into the ocean at an age where they should not be in the ocean. And then you're kind of like, do I go over? And then, like, you sort of approach them and they're like, yeah, she's fine. And you're like, okay, well, she was about to go full Ariel and, become a sea princess, but up to you, man. Now, what do we think about, because Sriram is from France, he said. I thought he was maybe from Scotland, but he's from France. Mm-hmm. And he says that he was in a pub with friends who have noisy kids and strangers asked them to shut up. And what do we think about living in a society where you could tell a kid to shut up? Now, probably not great, but also it's not acceptable in any way to say anything about a child in our society, I would say.
Yeah, it's interesting because I feel like in France, like, the culture, even, like, being on, like, the metro culture is like everyone is quiet. So I have to imagine that they were yelling at American children, which I can see, because I don't see the French yelling at anybody. I see a lot of stern looks being given to the point where you're, like, shrink into yourself, like, oh no, unless they were American children, in which case they probably had every right to be yelled at, because
it's practically a sport over there, yelling at Americans in France.
Yeah. And like, when you are in somebody else's home turf, as we discussed, like, you have to have a certain amount of respect for their lifestyle, right? And we always think about that when it's like, let's not be loud on public transportation. It's not New York where people are crazy and can do whatever they want. Like, you just, like, it's like a little bit of human decency in that regard. So I wonder, having just been to Edinburgh for my first time for 12 hours, it poured rain and I did nothing but go on a walking Harry Potter tour.
I hesitate to ask, but did you eat anywhere by the sea?
I don't even think I knew there was a sea nearby.
Well, I think it's surrounded by the sea.
Sure, of course it is, Matt. I am a cultured American woman who wouldn't dream of taking the J.K. Rowling guided tour. Just kidding. She was unaffiliated.
They were like, people there were like, "Oh, look at that woman wearing NASCAR T-shirt. Let's go yell at her."
Giant poncho sprinting with my husband, who does not care about Harry Potter at all, being like, "We have 6 hours to get this done. I want to go see the grave of whoever inspired Tom Marvolo Riddle."
Did you not know about Universal Studios in your backyard where they have a Harry Potter world?
Different. How dare
No,
you?
it's actually. I've been to both. It's
I
the same.
didn't go to the Universal tour. I did the walking tour of Edinburgh of where Harry Potter, inspired Harry Potter, and it actually made me realize, perhaps JK was less creative than we're giving her credit for, because it's like, this is the school that had 4 houses, all that were the exact same colors, and all that sorted kids into them, and I was like, oh, well, let's be clear here. All right.
I mean, she did write the words.
Yeah. She also lifted. I know. Listen, I'm mad at her. Okay, I think we all have the right to be. I think we all have the right to be pretty mad about some of the stances she's taking.
Now, if it comes down to it and they ask you to write on that new Harry Potter TV series, you're not going to say no.
My morals are out the fucking window.
I don't even understand this.
Do you know how much you get
thing.
paid for that? I don't even think she's going to be affiliated with it. Quite frankly, I know Warner Brothers is trying to. Yes, I think Warner Brothers is trying to sell it, and then it would be a whole thing. That being said, who fucking knows? Also, at this point, I was talking about with a friend, because we all have that one piece of art that we have our cognitive dissonance with it, of separating the art and the artist, and Harry Potter is unfortunately mine, where it was such an influential part of my childhood that it is deeply difficult for me to give it up, and so in order to make ourselves feel better, we're like, well, she's already a billionaire. Is it really going to be taking money out of her pocket if we don't write?
Well, so I'm like that. I got Woody Allen in my childhood, so I understand. There you go. You have Woody Allen. A lot of people have, Michael Jackson. People have their things that they don't want to, are you going to turn off Thriller immediately? I sprint to the phonograph to shut off Thriller anytime I hear it.
How'd that get in there?
Yeah.
Why? This is very off topic, but the TV show about Harry Potter is literally going to be just retelling the books, which already have 7 or 8 movies made of them. I don't understand why.
Here's why it's perfect. And I have no notes on it.
Okay, see, this is an unpopular opinion to me.
Probably is that it is going to allegedly stay word to word to the books, which, as much as I also love the movies, they were incapable of doing by nature of just being 2 hours long. So by giving them a full series, we're going to get some of those B stories, we're getting more of the house elves. We're getting more of the horny teens in 4. We're going to get to embellish some of those characters in a way that we weren't otherwise able to do in the movies. And I, as someone, the only thing I'll click on more quickly than Harry Potter is the Olsen twins. And so for me, I'm like, yes, this is a money grab, but yes, it's a money grab that I'm asking for, that I'm okay with. So I don't know. Again, it's, I'm happy to take it all back. I'm always happy for someone to tell me why I'm wrong, and I will learn from my ways. But
this isn't what you said, but this is how I heard your pitch. Harry Potter, but with fucking. I don't know. That's not what you said, but that's what I'm reading between the lines.
Well, here's the truth. As a teen, we didn't even need the fucking, but book 4 is the horniest thing I've ever read. That was my 50 Shades of Grey. Oh my God, when they are asking each other to the Yule Ball, let me tell you, young Taylor was like, this is the horniest, and I am
not the Yule Ball.
The Yule Ball. My God, Victor Crumb going with Hermione. Can you believe it when she comes down the stairs?
It's crazy.
Which in a She's All That moment? I haven't read the books. What happened? She took off her glasses.
That's in the movie. But...
How dare you bring this up with me when you haven't read the book or movie?
I haven't read
asking me to have an opinion on something that you disrespect in such a way.
I'm in that generation where it's just I was just too old to be reading them, but not old enough to be like, I'm old enough and secure, and maybe this is a fun thing to read.
Fair. And meanwhile, I'm almost 27 and was way too young for the books. And
that's right.
So I was a medical marvel coming out of the womb reading Harry Potter. No, I'm exactly the same age. So it was, that was a point of pride that Harry and I were the same age, I believe.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cute and nerdy, but that's fine. All right, Taylor, when people need help navigating life's biggest decisions, they seek our wise counsel, and we deliver an airtight verdict. It's time to settle this. So in this segment, I'm going to read you an email that someone sent in. They're having a problem and they need us to help them solve it for them. Hello, Matt. My wife went out to dinner with friends, and one of their new boyfriends started bragging about how he had a $600 gift card to the restaurant. After hyping it up all meal, he told everyone he wanted to pay using said gift card. Everyone assumed this was a magnanimous gesture. That night, though, when everyone got home, they each received a Venmo request from him for their portion of the bill. To be clear, he had never mentioned anyone paying him back. Please settle this. Am I crazy, or is this a very weird thing to do? I can't wait to hear your thoughts on the situation. This podcast is the highlight of my week. Thank you for all the joy you've brought to me. Oh, that's very sweet. That's from
darling.
Wally.
Wally, way to end with a compliment on the pod. That's always the way to our hearts.
That'll get you in. But this is a good question. This is a good question.
It's a really good question. It's Wally. So we've all been in that position where we're like super broke and,
Okay, yeah.
Maybe you do luck out that you're going to a Starbucks and you have $10 and you want to use your card as your portion. That being said, usually your card covers just your portion of the meal. Mm-hmm. The fact that he kept talking about this enormous gift card, I immediately was like, oh, what a nice gesture. He's absolutely going to pay for this meal. So I was on the same thought pattern that this lovely guy was as well, that like, oh, he's got this gift card. I didn't think it was a brag even. I thought he was bringing it up gently to be like, heads up, guys, like, I'll get tonight, which I thought was really lovely. To then receive the Venmo request, like, I would immediately pay the person back because I have extreme fear of people feeling like I owe them something. So I instantly, but I would also be like, huh, you're like a little profiting off of us on this meal. Like, you got this gift card, you're like making money off this meal. And that's like, I don't know. I think it was the way it was presented. I think if he was more upfront about it and didn't talk about it the whole meal, and then at the very end was like, hey, this is crazy, but I have a gift card. Can I use it? And you guys just Venmo me. Everyone would have been like, cool, and not thought twice about it. But the fact that he was like waving the flag of his gift card, putting it under people's nose so they could smell the free meal coming, and then pulled the rug out from under them, feels fishy.
I mean, a few questions. Who has a $600 gift card to a restaurant?
And so true. Yeah. It must have been from like a wedding, or like he like sued the place and it was a settlement.
Yeah.
Like, he's like,
Or it's a stack of gift cards. It's not one single gift card.
Right.
I bet they don't even go to 600, like the ones that have a stripe on them.
Yeah. It's like every Christmas his mom didn't know what to get him, so he got $50 to Outback Steakhouse that she bought at a local CVS, and now he was finally going to redeem all of them.
He's like, it's time to kill myself by blooming onions, and that's how I want to go.
Yeah. And then he walked away satisfied with $550 in cash in his pocket. That's
the genius thing about this is the worst thing about a gift card we all know is ending up with $379 on the gift card. You know what I mean? Not $379. I normally wouldn't have to clarify that because no one has a gift card for that fucking much. But this guy does. But he found a way out of it, and I totally agree. It's not in the spirit of the gift card is a gift, and so one would assume that he is taking this gift and then gifting it forward, paying it forward to everyone. And also, especially because Wally notes, my wife went out to dinner with friends and one of their new boyfriends. So this is, wouldn't you assume, oh, wow, this guy
trying to win us over.
Has nothing going for him. He's incredibly insecure. And he thinks the only likable thing about him is his money.
Is this gift card.
Yeah, no, but you would think
it would have been a really charming gesture of this new boyfriend to be like, hey, I have this gift card. Like, so then it's not also like, he's not like dick swinging, being like, I got the, right? So it's like, you really don't have to do that because that would make me feel uncomfortable too. But if he was like, I have this gift card, like, I'd love to just use it. It's like, oh, that's really thoughtful. Thank you. I would even offer to Venmo because I get anxious with that stuff too. It's just the way that it was presented. It feels like it was presented as if he was gifting it to people and then decided in the car to take it back, or like got a ticket on in the parking lot on the way home and was like, fuck.
Well, so what I wondered was, is this person with the gift card so devious that they gently steered everyone towards this restaurant, the very restaurant where they had a $600 gift card they have to use? And if that was the case, then I was gonna be very upset. So I emailed this person back. I said,
Interesting.
who chose the restaurant? He said, the guy with the gift card did not choose the restaurant, but he said it's a chain restaurant that they all go to frequently.
Cool.
But then he added this. He said, at the restaurant, he encouraged everyone to order more to use up the gift card. So there's no chance that this guy is in the right, because he was basically saying, I don't want this
I have a gift card. I got to use it. Oh my God.
I don't want gift card. I want money.
So he should have added that.
Order it up, baby.
Yeah.
And that way he got rid of the whole thing. So this person...
Go ahead. Finish.
Okay. Is a dick. You go now.
We differ in that I would actually think it was totally fine. I would have no problem texting my friends being like, I have a gift card to this restaurant. Can we go there? Like, fine.
Sure.
Like, you know, as every so often somebody has a gift card for Sugarfish from a mom or something who doesn't know what else they like, and you're like, great, let's go, let's do it. So I think that's acceptable. I'm okay with that. If he had led the charge, I would have been okay with it. Telling people to order more and then Venmoing for them is the craziest fucking thing I've ever heard. What a bait and switch. I gotta know, are they still together? Like, did it work out between them?
Right.
Did the girlfriend say anything? Like, was she aware that this was happening? Did anyone tell her that her boyfriend was Venmo requesting them? I would be mortified. That would be crazy. And so I gotta know if she's okay.
Let me give you a different scenario.
Okay.
This guy, he's meeting everyone for the first time. I've got a gift card for $600. Get what you want. Order the most expensive thing. And they do it. He pays for it with the gift card. They get back in the car. The girlfriend is like, what the fuck are you doing, man? I wanted bloomin' onions for the next 6 months, and you just blew that whole gift card that you've had. You get on your phone and you Venmo those people now for that money.
Oh, man.
No way would anyone in our audience's wife be friends with a
funny. I started
girl
crying, and now
that would do that.
That is the craziest thing.
It kind
I'm
of
going to play out this scenario. In this scenario, this woman is jonesing for bloomin' onions.
Yes.
In fact, some would argue she may be with this guy for the bloomin' onions. And now she was gold digging that gift card, and then he donated all the money to something else, and she was left with nothing. It's a cautionary tale, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
All I have to say is, you got to be careful. You got to be careful. That can happen.
Okay, what about, I don't think, is this analogous? Like, let's say he had a coupon for the restaurant.
How is that different?
Well, okay, because I'm saying, like, let's say it was like 50% off the meal.
Sure, okay.
But then, so he applies the coupon,
No,
but then...
Prison. You go to jail.
Everyone, but then... If it was, then he charges you half the original price. Do you know what I'm saying?
Craziest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. You go to prison. I would feel nothing rejecting that and being like, bitch, you used a coupon. You cut that shit out of a magazine and are charging me full price. Like, this is the craziest. Yeah, that's jail time. That's you call your friend and you say, I know we're not supposed to have these honest conversations with each other, but you can't be with this person. He's like, that's like a full-on grift. Like, is he like getting new girlfriends to like charge the group at dinner, and like to what end?
Taylor, you just gave me a great idea. The gift card is out. What's in the grift card? Okay, you give it to people, and then they go out. They take you out for. I mean, this is like if I have a gift card to Hollister. And
congratulations.
Thank you. Now you want something at Hollister. It's not for me, Taylor, but you want to stay looking young and cool. Mm-hmm. You just got done shopping at PacSun. You take a few steps to the right. You're in the Hollister now. I have a gift card. I suppose it would be okay if we were shopping together and I was like, oh, you know what? I have a gift card for this. Do you mind using it and paying me back?
That is fine because it is a pre-negotiated.
That's right.
Situation. You're basically saying like, I'm not going to use this. Will you use this and just Venmo me the $50? Or I'd even be like, use this and Venmo me 40. Like, then you get a deal and I don't have to deal with this gift card I'm never going to use.
All right, Taylor, not everyone's going to agree with everything you say, but sometimes you have to stand alone on the edge of popular consensus. It's time for unpopular opinions. That's right. We have our own segment called Unpopular Opinions. And normally what I do is it takes me a long time because I got to scour the internet for people espousing unpopular opinions on the web. But this time I found another source, Taylor, and that source is simply episode titles from your podcast. I'll hit you with the first one here.
Okay.
Every holiday should be dress up. Now, I would ask, is this an unpopular opinion? Because when I thought about it for 5 seconds, I was like, kind of every holiday is already dress up. Like Christmas, people dress up in a certain way. At the very least, a Christmas sweater.
Here's first and foremost, if you want to know how I feel like this, listeners, go listen to my fucking podcast. Okay?
I mean, you can at the end.
Second
We're
of
not
all,
talking. I'm not
if
reading
you
the
listen
transcript.
to it,
I'm not
you
doing
would
all the
know
episodes.
Exactly how I feel about that, and how you're wrong about every holiday being dress up. And this is the craziest situation I've ever been put in.
Okay, Memorial Day. Memorial Day is not a dress up.
Labor Day. You dressing up for President's Day?
Yeah,
I don't
white
think
shoes,
so.
white pants is my last time to wear my white pants.
Remind me who my guest was on this lovely podcast. It was
Didn't write that
wonderful. Hold please, edit out. It was the wonderful. I have facial blindness and naming.
Are you waiting for me to tell you, or are you looking it up?
I'm Googling it.
Oh, okay.
I'm Googling it and waiting for the time. I'm running the.
She's so upset that we used topics from her podcast, JD,
No, I'm
that
so
she's
upset
stalling
that
by Googling.
you're asking me to summarize my podcast.
I'm not asking you to summarize.
On
I'm
your
a new
podcast.
person.
This is the craziest that you just perused instead of listening to. This is crazy. This is some crazy.
We do 2 shows a week,
right
Taylor.
Here.
I don't know. I got a lot of content to sift through.
All right, let's see. Blah 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 blah. I can't find it. I haven't looked at my own podcast. It's making me miss it. You can come on mine, and I'm going to ask you to summarize every single bite episode of yours.
It's good. That's great.
Launch it first.
You know how many we've done this for like two. You know how many fucking topics we've done on the show?
What's the name of the show with? Hold on.
Okay, now I'm gonna look it up for you.
Sorry, hold please.
I'm gonna go to your Spotify.
Thank you. Okay. It
Hills.
is, and all of this is being cut out because I can't simply hurt someone's feelings.
That's fine.
It was Jana Schmeiding. You're going to want to listen to that podcast episode. She's the wonderful lead of Rutherford Falls, and she has a lot of wonderful things to say that I am not going to tell you right this minute, you crazy asshole. Jesus Christ.
Okay, then fine. I'll talk in this segment then.
No.
I don't think this is an unpopular opinion, and I agree that every holiday should be dress up.
Cool. You should go listen to my podcast and write a review about it.
Well, 1 star at this point.
Fine, you and my mom.
Okay, look, she doesn't want to talk about her volunteer work. She doesn't want to talk about her child, and she doesn't want to talk about her podcast.
I would love to talk about my child all day, every day. Simon is a perfect specimen and a perfect being. I simply need you all to lie to him and tell him that I was home with him the whole first year. Oh my goodness. Okay, I have a question for you. Somebody just wrote in and said, what's the etiquette of quoting somebody else's podcast that you haven't listened to and asking them to summarize it? For your
Patreon
question. Listeners? I'm just curious. Yeah.
No, this is
JD,
public. Anyone can hear this.
JD, what do you think?
Oh, I'm all for it, of course.
Shit.
I thought this would be, you would be honored by this. Am I an idiot?
I don't, but that's actually a really good question. I would love to know who's overreacting here, and I don't know the answer to that. There's a very good chance it's me. I will tell you that I love a good overreaction. I just went on a family trip and just got into it with my brother. It was in front of my sister and her new boyfriend who were like trying to roast s'mores, and we're like, the fuck is this? So
Do you want to talk about that? Do you want us to adjudicate who was right in that?
I want to know
argument?
I want to know if I'm having a reaction here that isn't correct.
Okay,
and
let's talk it through. Yeah, what you're thinking in your head is, if I tell you what I thought about this topic, no one's going to listen to the actual episode.
It just feels a little. There's something about it that just feels a little like, what?
This is like a trailer. Are they not?
But it's like you. But at the same time, time, it's like you being like, it's you interviewing me about a movie I was just in without having seen the movie. And that feels like we would never do that. You would have the audacity to watch the movie and then be like, I loved your role in this. Let's talk about it. I have follow-up
But that's 90 minutes.
But instead, you're
this
asking
is
me like,
this is 17 hours of podcasting.
Yeah, but if you had listened to this episode you were about to talk about, you'd be like, oh, I loved this moment where you did this. Let's talk about it.
Why would I do that, though?
Let's expand upon it. Because otherwise we're creating content that already exists.
Oh, baby, we're creating content right now.
Am I crazy? I think I might be crazy. There's always a chance that I'm the one being crazy. That I.
Well,
really
we've never had anyone walk off the podcast, and I think that'd be good for numbers. If you want to do that, you've done 45 good minutes. If you want to walk out now,
I would never,
I'll allow
because here's the truth. If I walk off 5 minutes from now, I'm gonna realize that I'm in the wrong here, and that I'm gonna have to get you guys back on, and that's gonna require re-downloading Chrome again. It's gonna be a whole thing.
Boy, this
again. So I gotta see this through to the end here.
I'll tell you something.
I'm happy to talk to you about everything. Jana had great, funny things to say. I'll paraphrase all her wonderful commentary.
Fine, moving on. I'll just say this. I didn't walk away from the vaccine work when someone tried to punch me in the face. But if you want to walk away from this podcast now, that's totally fine. And I'm sure everyone listening will be on your side.
This is correct, because I did say, if someone punches you in the face, you cannot walk away from this. This is an important part of history in the making.
Said it on the form.
Said it on the needle I handed you and said,
that's right.
Stick them, let them hit you, and move to the next guy. That was our slogan. Okay.
And to be clear, everyone go listen to Taylor's podcast. Go listen to Taylor's podcast. I think the reason she's so upset is because she's not making new episodes, and there's not new stuff coming.
I might miss it. This might just be a sign that I need to hop back into it, in which case I want you guys to come on, and I'm going to ask you exclusively about an episode that I haven't listened to, and we're going to just recreate it without the guest who had the takes.
But Taylor, this is what you're not understanding. This is
like appropriating Jana's beautiful take. I don't know what's happening here. Let's talk about it. President.
No, I don't want to talk about it anymore. No, you've soured me. Because what you don't understand is that JD and I are new people. Like,
what do you mean you're new people? New to
we
this
weren't
earth?
on the show with you, so we have different opinions.
Etiquette?
We have different opinions. We could share different thoughts that you and Janet didn't share.
But you don't know what was shared because
I don't need to know.
Listen to it. Yes, you do. Because otherwise, I'm being like, yeah, as Jana said.
Have you ever gone on a podcast, Taylor, and anyone's given you such a magnanimous introduction like I did, naming all your credits?
No one invites me to do these things, and there's a reason. They don't listen to my podcast. They have no idea who I am, and then when I am invited on, this shit happens, and everyone's like,
how dare you ask me about a thing that A, ties into my work that might encourage people to listen to it, and B, that I would definitely have an opinion about that would be interesting for your listeners? How dare you put that much thought into this? You should have just asked me a question that had nothing to do with anything.
I don't know, man. Something hit me in the core there. I don't know. I reserve the right to be completely wrong about this.
That's fine.
And this will be the second Notes app apology I will have had to issue to you after this. Just put it on my tab of things I have to apologize to you for, Matt. I mean, Jesus Christ. This is our first time meeting and my second public apology.
Yeah. When Only Murders in the Building comes out, they're definitely not going to show any scenes from it before the first episode comes out. They're definitely not going to try to whet people's appetite by showing them an image here or there. That's all this is.
Of course they are, but the people who chose those images went through carefully and curated, knowing exactly what happens in the full context of the thing that they watched, and doing it in an appropriate and delicate sense, so that they're giving a little sliver.
We're talking about Steve Martin and Martin Short here.
Yeah, they know what they're doing. They know, yeah, and everyone knows it's Steve Martin and Taylor. So move over, Selena.
Okay. Well,
no, please don't. Please stay exactly where you are. Lovely lady.
I mean, we can move on to the next segment, which is the last segment, if you want. I mean, we're almost done. We yelled at each other enough that we.
Okay, wait, no. Now I want to try to make it through the previous segment without just as it would have gone. Let's try it. Ask me that question again.
The same one or a different one?
Nope, same one.
Okay. All right, first unpopular opinion. Every holiday should be dress up. Now, I'm not sure this is an unpopular opinion because I kind of already think every holiday already is dress up. Taylor, what do you think?
I think I did a lovely podcast episode about this already.
Oh boy, here we go
Oh
again.
God.
Where Jana had some lovely takes about how we both believe that not every holiday is dress up, but perhaps they should be at a certain
But what
point.
about? Do you care what I think about this stuff?
Yeah, you said that they already are, and I'm telling
Well,
you.
that was my opening salvo. It wasn't going to be the last thing I said.
Oh, okay. Do you want me to prepare a question for you?
I was just gonna
what do you-
say, New Year's is dress up. 4th of July
yes.
is dress up. Everyone puts on red, white, and
correct,
blue and a
correct.
tank top. St. Patrick's Day even is dress up. We
Of
got
course.
America
But
is the
then
home
you
of
have
Mardi Gras,
Arbor Day. Where's Arbor Day?
but that's not a real holiday.
Okay, well, I get off from work from Arbor Day. Probably not. Probably not. That's
Definitely.
probably wrong.
Did you get that in the strike? Did you get
I haven't
Arbor
had
Day
it.
off? I don't think so.
Wow.
We marched for Arbor Day. We
They
didn't
cut
get
down the
residuals.
trees.
We didn't get residuals, and it's not because we get Arbor Day off, but it's because most of us will still be unemployed on Arbor Day, and that's why we got it off.
Yeah, remember when they literally the studios hated Arbor Day so much they cut down the trees so you
That
wouldn't
was
be
fucking
shaded?
Crazy.
See, these are new thoughts, Taylor.
We talked about that on a different
On your
episode of my
podcast, you
podcast.
talk about
yes,
that?
I did talk about the trees. Different episode.
Oh, fuck.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding, Matt. I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, that was really fucking crazy. I can't believe that they did that. That was some like real big bad villain moves. That was like, that really, I like to believe that people are inherently good, and then things like that happen, and you're like, are they? Anyway.
All right, well, go listen to Taylor's podcast because I can't ask her any questions about it. I can't even bring up the fact that one's called Dog Allergies Aren't Real when I myself have dog allergies. Okay? Maybe you want...
wouldn't be as upset if you listened to the podcast. This is crazy. This is crazy. You're getting mad at the titles without reading the article.
Okay, I'm gonna see if Spotify has a transcript for this, and I'm just gonna fucking start reading it. I'm gonna start reading it right now. Okay, moving on. There's only one thing left to do, and that's play subjective trivia. Subjective trivia is just like regular trivia, except only I know the answer. And this is not a segment on Taylor's show, so this is fair game. But the intro is basically what I was going to tell you, and this is a thing you have worked on, so I hope you don't get upset. Girls 5 Eva, it's a show about a girl group that was popular in the late 90s, only to fade into obscurity as a one-hit wonder. Just taking through my thought process here, that made me think of the most popular girl group of the late 90s, which was, of course, the Spice Girls. So today's question is, what is the best Spice Girls song? Here are your options. And just so you know I'm not cheating, I have my answer written here on this cue card. Okay, here are your options. Wannabe. Stop. Who do you think you are? To Become One, or Say You'll Be There. JD does not know the answer, so you could consult with him, though I feel like you have a strong opinion about it already, so we're trying to get our answers to match.
Didn't even know I was going to get a list here. Was going to say Wannabe hands down. It might be the most obvious, but I think it's the most obvious for a reason, because that song slaps and everybody knows it. Final answer.
Okay. Well, since you shat on my other segment and we got about 30 seconds out of it, why don't you tell me, were you hemming and hawing between anything here? Is there a second favorite that
I
you...
feel like we need to talk this out some more. Are you okay? I'm so sorry.
It's great. I'm great.
Should we go to lunch? I have a gift card to this place. I'd love to take you.
By the sea?
It's by the sea.
I don't go to Santa Monica.
Order whatever you want. You can order. In fact, I want to encourage you to order as much as you can. You're going to love it.
Okay, well, fuck, this is great. I hate that we agree, but the right answer is Wannabe.
I love that we agree, Matt. We can end this being really tight friends. All you need is one kernel to really find a common ground.
I know, we're back. I completely agree. I hesitated because it is by far their most popular. I looked it up on Spotify. It is their only song that's above 1 billion streams, which kind of surprised me.
That surprised me too.
But as a mission statement, as an introduction to the world of girl power, tell you what I want, what I really, really want. I mean, it's just iconic.
Yeah. That's basically the theme song to Harry Potter 4.
We don't have that in common.
I know. Shouldn't have brought it up.
Maybe you're upset because you think, and do you think, that I stole this podcast idea from you? The whole...
Oh, No, definitely not.
Oh,
Oh,
okay, that's
absolutely
good.
not. There are so
That's
many
fine.
unpopular
I did, but
opinion
that's fine.
podcasts. Oh no, there are so many unpopular opinion podcasts. Oh no.
What year
my
did you
heart.
start yours? What year did
I
you start
also
yours in?
think absolutely. I have no idea. A long time ago, 2018 maybe.
Oh fuck. Okay, you got to speak.
But also, there are 9 million unpopular opinion podcasts. Plenty of room for all
Well,
of
okay,
them.
now you're making me feel bad. You're making JD
in
feel
no
bad.
Universe,
I
I
don't
was
feel bad.
honored to be on this, and thank you for having me.
All right. Well, since you got the subjective trivia question correct, you can tell people where to find you and promote anything you want, including your own podcast.
Oh, this is the worst. Oh, thank you. I don't even know what you asked me. I have to go call into a
Promote
whole-
yourself.
Oh, I don't want to do that. You did
okay.
such a great job of doing it in the beginning. I'm Taylor. I have a podcast no one listens to, including the hosts of this podcast. It's called Hillside Die On. Might do more of it, might not. Might have Matt. What I'd like to promote is dining by the sea with your children. I think that's
Okay,
a really
beautiful.
lovely thing for you to do as a family, and I hope
that's-
you enjoy. And if anyone gives you nasty looks, just give them a cheers. Send them over a drink. It's like on an airplane. If my kid's being a dick, I'm like, can I buy you a snack box? And then everything is better. Throw money at the problem. Throw gift cards at the problem. That's all.
I just want to say, clear the air. This was very enjoyable.
This was really
I had
enjoyable.
a lovely time.
Thank you so much for having me.
And if you get a call from a reporter at the New York Times
Oh my
contacting
God.
you about your vaccine white savior work, that was not me being vindictive and telling them about it. That was just them doing some follow-up reporting.
Yeah. I'm getting
and-
a rash just thinking about it. Thank you.
No, don't worry. Your secret's safe with us. And anyone listening, don't tell anyone about the vaccine thing. That's it for this show. Remember to check us out, patreon.com/isthisgood. And if you have
you.
topics, isthisgoodpod@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. Thanks to Taylor for coming on and busting our balls in what I am going to say is a friendly way. Thanks in advance for leaving a 5-star review. For everyone, I'm Matt Austin, and this was good. We'll see you next week.